This meeting is being recorded.
So, hi and Assalamualaikum. Today we will present about our project 2 KSBA. So, our project title is Student on Social Media Addiction. In today's digital age, social media play a major role in student life. While it offers entertainment and connection, excessive use may lead to problems like poor sleep, stress, and academic decline. To explore this, we collect data from 705 students through an online survey. So our aim is to analyze how social media usage is related to factors such as mental health, addiction level, academic performance, and more. So we will proceed to the next page.
Name mic. Okay, for this dataset, we use dataset titled Student Social Media Addiction, which was obtained from Kaggle. The population for this study is students who are addicted to social media, and we use a sample of 705 students. So the students come from various backgrounds and academic level, and their data was collected using an online survey. So this is the data description. This data allow us to perform a various statistical analysis such as hypothesis testing, correlation, regression, and chi-square test. By examining this variable, we aim to explore how social media addiction affect different areas of student lives, including their mental health, academic performance, sleep patterns, and even social relationships. So for the next data analysis, my part is two sample hypothesis tests. In this analysis, we will use variable age and relationship status, where it will test where the mean age for in relationship and another is mean age for complicated and single. So first we state the hypothesis statement. For null hypothesis, mean equal to mean 2. Alternative hypothesis, mean 2 greater than mean 1 greater than mean 2, where mean 1 equals the mean age for a relationship and mean 2 equals the mean age for single and complicated. So, from the given data, we calculate the mean of relationship status for student for by using the RStudio. I get the mean obtained for in relationship is 6.0175, while for complicated and single is 5.7353. So by using the mean that we get, we can calculate the standard deviation by using the following formula. So by using RStudio, I get the value of standard deviation of the in relationship is 1.01, and mean for standard deviation of complicated and single is 1.44. So given in the question is 95% confidence level and alpha 0.05, the test statistic can be calculated using the following formula. So by using the RStudio, the test statistic I get is 3.8904. We then proceed to calculate the degree of freedom using the following formula. So by using RStudio, I get the degree of freedom is 653.8571. Based on degree of freedom, we can use the value to get the critical value from table. The critical value that I get is 1.964. Since the test statistic is higher than test critical value, so conclusion, we reject the null hypothesis. Hence, there is sufficient evidence to conclude that the mean age of a relationship is different from the mean age of single and complicated. So that's for my part.
Okay, so next I will continue with my part, which is correlation test. So for the correlation analysis, we wanted to understand whether there's a significant relationship between how much time students spend on social media each day and their mental health status. So we use person correlation test since both variable as average daily social media usage and mental health score are continuous and measured on an interval or ratio scale. So after analyzing the data using RStudio, and we use the percent correlation formula. So we obtain the percent correlation coefficient is equal to negative 0.8011. So this value is close to negative 1, which indicates a strong negative linear relationship. In other words, as social media usage increase, mental health score tend to decrease, which is suggesting a possible decline in mental well-being. So to confirm this relationship is statistically significant, we conduct a hypothesis test. So for the null hypothesis, which is equal to 0, no linear correlation exists, while for alternative hypothesis, which is not equal to 0, is a linear correlation exists. So the test gave us a t-value of negative 35.48 and a p-value close to 0, which is less than 0.05. So because of this, we reject the null hypothesis. So as for the conclusion, there is a significant negative correlation between social media usage and mental health among students. So this is highlight the potential risks of excessive social media use on student emotional well-being. So emphasizing the importance of managing screen time and promoting healthier digital habits. So I think that's all for my part.
Next is my part regression test. This regression analysis examines the relationship between students' average daily social media usage in hours and their addiction score. The variable use of X as daily usage hours and Y as addicted score. We aim to see if more screen time resulted in more addiction. We use the equation of Y equal to B0 plus B1X plus E. Figure 3.31 show the scatter plot between average daily usage hour and addicted score. One is zoom out and one is the true scale. The model assumes independence normally distributed errors with constant variance and a linear relationship. By using the method of the least square, the estimated regression line based on the sample data is Y equal to B0 plus B1X. The intercept B0 equal to 1.271 suggests the expected addiction score with zero usage. The slope B1 equal to 1.050 indicates that each extra hour of use increased the score by approximately 1.050, which we achieved by RStudio. Hence, the estimated values of B0 and B1 can be substituted into the regression equation as follows. Y equal to 1.050 plus 1.271x. Although zero usage is rare, the intercept helps define the regression line. The positive slope proves the idea that more time online equals higher addiction. The explained and unexplained variation in the dependent variable is partitioned as follows. First is the total sum of square SST equal to 1,773.441. Regression sum of square SSR equal to 1,227.619. Error sum of square SSE equal to 545.822. These were computed using RStudio. The results support the regression model's validity and will be used in determining model accuracy. The coefficient of determination, R squared, is calculated using RStudio, which is approximately 0.692. This implies that approximately 69.2% of the addicted score variation is explained by usage hours. This indicates a strong fit for the model. The standard deviation of the variation of the observations Around the regression line is estimated during the standard error of the estimate formula. This value was obtained through analysis in RStudio, which equal to 0.02641131. The standard error of estimate tells us how far off the prediction are from actual values. To determine if the slope is statistically significant, hash null equal to p equal to 0, which is no linear relationships. Hash 1, p not equal to 0, which a linear relationship exists. With t equal to 39.763 and p-value which less than 0.05, we reject hash null, confirming a strong linear connections between usage and addition. The regression line based on the estimated model is as follows. In figure 3.3.2, scatter plot between average daily users hour and edited score with regression line, with one have a zoom out and another one is true scale. Below is all the equation used in this test. That's all.
Okay, so next for my part, I'll be explaining the chi-square test of independence that we did in our analysis. Basically, in this test, we wanted to see if gender has anything to do with the most used social media platform among students. In other words, is there a relationship between a student's gender and the platform they prefer, or are these two things completely unrelated? So first, we set up our hypothesis. So for null hypothesis, gender and most used platform are independent, meaning there's no connection between them. For alternative hypothesis, gender and most used platform are dependent, meaning gender does influence platform choice. Next, we set up our significance level, which is alpha is equal to 0.05. That's a standard for 95% confidence. Then we calculate the degrees of freedom using the formula df equals to rows minus 1 times columns minus 1. Since we have 2 genders and 12 platforms, our degrees of freedom is 2 minus 1 times with 12 minus 1, which is equal to 11. So from the chi-square table, the critical value for df is equal to 11. At 0.05 is 19.6751. Then we compare the actual observed frequency from the data to what we would expect if the variables were independent. So for example, we had more females using Instagram and more males using Facebook, but we needed to see if this difference is statistically significant. So all the expected counts were calculated, and then we used the chi-square formula to compute the test statistic. After going through all the calculation using RStudio to speed it up, we got a chi-squared value of 154.33, which is way higher than our critical value of 19.6751. So for conclusion, since our test statistic falls in the critical region, we reject the null hypothesis, where this means there is a statistically significant relationship between gender and the most used social media platform. Or simply put, the platform student use most thus depends on their gender. So to conclude our project, our findings shows that social media really does have an impact on students. We found that relationship status affects age, high school media use is linked to worse mental health, and more screen time leads to higher addiction levels. Also, gender influences which platform students use the most. For overall, social media affect us in more ways than we think, so it's important to use it wisely. So that is all from us. Thank you.